What's going down, man? It's your boy Triplemzay. We live from Oklahoma City, and I'm giving you the OK.
Told you we was giving you the OK back today to make a way. He gon' die today, nobody.
All right, so we got Triplemzay in the building.
What's poppin'?
How you doing, bro?
I'm good, man. How y'all doing, man?
Good, man.
We live with the OK, man.
Yes,
What's
sir.
really good?
Yes, sir. Been a long time coming, for sure.
Nah, for real. We here though.
Definitely. The first time y'all bombarded us when we did those awards. Like that, all your people were like, we're not having it.
Hey, man, that's what they supposed to do.
For sure.
That's what they supposed to do, man.
For sure.
For sure.
We'll talk about like that a little bit more in that song and everything, but
yeah.
It is the first time, so let's kind of talk about just kind of your upbringing and stuff like that. You born and raised OKC or what?
Born and raised Oklahoma City, man. Oklahoma City baby, 405, man.
For sure. You from like a particular side of town? Or
man, I grew up all over this motherfucker, man. From the north to the south to the east to the west, man. I went to Putnam City North though, high school.
For sure. So how was that coming up around OKC? I feel like nobody really stayed on the side around a certain time frame. Everybody was.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. I just did my little dibbling dabbling everywhere, bro. Really, from like I said, I done been all over the Putnam City district, so that's just like, I mean, it's small, bro. We in Oklahoma City, so it's like you literally in a small region. It's a little circle. So it's like I did my little running around all across this motherfucker, man. But it was Oklahoma. That's the only way I can describe it. It's Oklahoma, man. You gotta love it.
For sure, definitely. So is music something you were always like interested in, or?
Yeah, well, it really all started out in the church, playing the drums. I started playing the drums when I was like 3 years old, probably like, 2 or 3 years old. My older brother got a drum set when he was like 4, so yeah, I was 2. Just did my pops play the drums, do everything. My pops used to be a DJ. He picked that back up. He DJ now, so I just always been around music my whole life.
For sure, you got like a musical family.
I was on a drum line in high school, did all that. I'm just music oriented since a young kid, man.
For sure. So at what point did you start like crafting your own music, going, playing church songs and stuff is different than, being on the drum line? Starting to create your own music?
For sure. I want to say maybe my freshman year high school. Okay. I started dibbling and dabbling in FL Studios and just trying to do this and trying to do that. And then I locked in with Mccoy around the time where he was locked in with KD, so that was quite a while ago. And went from there, man, and just we here now.
For sure. So you started out producing?
No, I just started out recording myself though.
Okay.
Just off the strength, just cause I didn't really know nothing about going to nobody's studios. CL McCoy probably was the first one that I like went to record with, like an actual official studio. But then I'm like, shit, I got a laptop, and the rest was history.
For sure. So you were rapping, singing first?
Yeah, for sure.
And then kind of talk about like your influences as far as, you got a pretty unique type of style. It's like,
man, my influences. Michael Jackson, I gotta start it off there, man. I was really a Michael Jackson fan my whole life, just as a kid. Who don't want to see Michael Jackson? He was it back then, you feel me? So it's like, he gotta be one of my main things I talk about to this day, because I feel like he still to this day is underrated on what he was to the music industry as a whole. They call him the king of pop, but he was the king of music back then, so to me, if you ask me anyways. But Michael Jackson was definitely a big influence on why I do what I do today. And
Sure.
as
You
far
feel
as like
you feel like the church music, because
yeah,
you can kind of hear that, like as far as like just the melodies.
yeah,
And,
for sure. I grew up on Kurt Franklin.
Yeah.
Kurt Franklin, my whole life. Yeah. So that's in me. It ain't going nowhere.
Definitely. So I guess you started like engineering and the same time you started rapping, right? Doing yourself.
Yeah.
So at what point did you pick up like the production side of stuff? Like,
I was kind of doing both at the same time, you could guess. I was doing a little bit of making beats, and then it was probably trash as fuck back then. But I was doing it because like I said, I started in FL, which is to me is a producer's program. So it's like I was making a few beats. They was trash, but 9 times out of 10, I was on YouTube like everybody else or anything, just trying to record, bro. Honestly, that's where it started, just trying to record something.
for sure. So at what point do you, there's always a switch for everybody where they go from messing around in the bedroom and, you know what I mean, just playing with stuff to where like, let me actually see what I can do with this and, you know, put some effort into it. Was there something specific for you that did that?
Not necessarily something that did that, but like just time. I ain't gonna lie. Then over time, I started going to record with my boy Jay Matic over there on the north side, and he really introduced me into the ins and out of engineering, like the geeky side of it, and I was really just intrigued on learning everything that I could, just to try to make my own sound and try to do whatever it is that I could do to get me rolling type. But once I got to actually learning how to engineer, because at first I was just clicking record, you feel me? Just it's a difference. It's a major difference. I was just recording myself and just trying this and trying that and recording the homies at the crib, and just then I started actually getting into the craft of engineering music. And that's really what kind of just elevated everything.
For sure. So I'm interested, kind of, you said you was with CL Mccoy, like that's who KD was recording with when he was real young on the Thunder, right? When he was trying to make music.
Yeah,
for sure. So I feel like that's a kind of an untold, like people know about it, but it doesn't really get a lot of, you know, like Dave East was down here for a long time and stuff like that, right?
Nah, for sure.
So just kind of talk about that time frame. Like I haven't really heard anybody speak too much publicly.
I was really like almost like fresh out of high school, or like maybe like 11th grade, and just he had this studio on Expressway, and my cousin, who is a rapper as well, her name Tiny 2G, she was locked in with him before I was even, like, she really kind of like introduced me to the whole like really going to the studio thing and actually making music at the studio. And she was recording with CL at the time. So back then we locked in with CL, man, and he was just feeding us game as youngins, like we kids, and just trying to make something happen at this time. So he kind of took us in his studio and showed us the ins and outs and got the recording with us, and it just went from there, man.
For sure. You ever run into any of those guys while you was in there?
Nah.
No.
He was back and forth for like working with Privilege and KD and them. So. But I was roaming the streets, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was roaming the streets, man. So I ain't really get to run into them back then. I ran into them at the mall one day, but that was on some whole other shit.
For sure. So kind of talk about, you know, I bounced back and forth a little bit, but you were talking about kind of forming your own sound and like, just talk about that process for you as far as like coming together and to where you got comfortable with your sound and, presenting it as your sound, because like I said, it is, you know, kind of distinct. For sure.
Man, I listen to a lot of like music that probably a lot of people don't listen to. Well, maybe some, but I don't really listen just to the norm that everybody listen to. I'm more into the melodic and singing and Tank, Chris Brown, and Kevin McCall, and who else was I listening to back then, man? really a lot of R&B, just R&B music. And then like close to the time, like when I moved to Dallas, I was really before then I got hip to Mo3. And when I actually started listening to Mo3, I felt like I found somebody who I could relate to that has a melodic, I don't even know what I call it is trap soul. I'm gonna say that Bryson Tiller stole my whole trap soul thing. But I call it trap soul, man. And where I found that, when I found out about Mo3, I just started listening to Mo3 a lot. And he let me know that I could still be me and make whatever music it is that I want to make, and not be stricken to one sound, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, like it's
just because it's that church. I don't know. It's the gospel music
like
sound.
The sound doesn't match the content always. If that makes sense, like it's
facts.
Yeah, for sure.
And it let me know that it wasn't nothing wrong with that. Because a lot of people will try to match a sound that they hear, or they'll try. A lot of it is just forced. But once I figured that I seen him doing it on a way bigger level than what I was doing it at, of course. But I'm like, all right, well, I can just be me and still make good music.
For sure. So what caused you to move to Dallas? Was that like something for music, or that you just tired of being in OKC your whole life?
Man, I ain't gonna lie, it was just ugly here, bro. Like, just, man, people losing people, bro. Homies dying, family dying. Like, it's Oklahoma, bro. I ain't gonna lie, it's like it's a bucket. It's just like a crab in a bucket type of deal when you growing up in Oklahoma City. And it's like, don't nobody really just want to see the next person make it or like do something good without feeling a type of way about it. It's just Oklahoma. So I'm like, if I'm gonna make anything shake, I gotta get away from this. Like, it was just draining me. Like, especially, it's really the deaths, bro. I ain't gonna lie, it was the deaths. There was a lot of death that I dealt with as a kid that I shouldn't have dealt with.
For sure. So how old were you when you moved to Dallas?
Probably like 21.
Okay.
21.
Cool. So you feel like you did what it was supposed to do type?
Definitely. For sure, man. I ain't gonna lie. If I'd have stayed here, I probably wouldn't be sitting here talking to you right now. I probably would not be sitting here, bro, for real.
For sure. That's good. Well, yeah.
Nah, for real.
For sure. So do you, as far as like your production goes, are you producing for yourself at all, or you involved? Yeah. So kind of talk about that process, like for you, like recording wise.
Well, that just the production side also just came from the engineering side. Like, I just felt like since I've always had the music capability, why not do the whole 9 yards? Like, it's not a lot of people who's capable of doing everything. You feel me? So it's like, I kind of just told myself to hone in on the fact that I'm musically inclined and take it and run with it. You know what I mean? Like, why not? So still to this day, I still mess around, make beats, and I be trying to make beats for clients, but once I make something that I like, it's a wrap. I'm gonna get on it.
For sure. So that's as far as the process. You make beats first, and then, or do you like come up with melodies, and if you can't find a beat, you just make it? Like, how does that process work? Like,
it varies. I ain't gonna lie. Some days I'll wake up and cook up a beat, or some days I'm calling and bugging Rob, like, hey bro, I need some beats, or I'm just on YouTube like anybody else. And really, the YouTube is what kept my creativity going, because it's like, not every day I'm gonna make a fire beat that I like. You know what I mean? I'm gonna make some trash. I'm gonna make some shit that I'm just not feeling. So YouTube was one of my outlets that I really like gravitated to and was able to keep my creativity just going. But I never stopped making beats.
For sure. So you brought up Rob. So kind of talk about how y'all got linked up, and kind of how that relationship is.
Man, just Putnam City, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
Y'all was high school together?
He went to PC Original. I went to PC North. And like I said, it's two different schools, but the way Oklahoma City set up, you in literally a circle. So it's like you got 59th and then you got 122nd. between there is Putnam City Original and Putnam City North. I went to Putnam City North, but I was back and forth from just that area because it's like it's up the street, so it's not like it's just on a Edmond to Putnam City. It's all Putnam City, so it's just, man, basketball, going to the gym. Aspen, I don't even know if you know what that is. It's like an old gym that used to be where the YMCA is on Rockwell.
Okay.
And that's where we all just used to be playing basketball all the time. And just went from there, man. We locked in from there and been on them ever since.
For sure. So, and then when the music stuff started to come about, y'all linked up on that, or how did that connection come about?
Yeah, he was always doing music, and I always seen him doing music, and I was always doing music, but we never, like, in that phase, we never just, like, worked together. But back then, I would, like, always just hit him up and trying to get beats, like, hey, bro, I need some beats, fuck with me. It took him a long time, man. It took him a long time to actually respond, but eventually, man, he like, all right, man, fuck it. I'ma just see what this little nigga talking about, and shit, we here.
For sure.
Platinum.
For sure, yeah, for sure.
We here.
Definitely. So, talk about that, because you have a production credit on that MO3 song, right?
Yeah, the In My Blood with Morray.
Okay, so kind of talk about, was that a beat y'all like cooked up together at one time, or?
Yeah, we actually did, and it was actually, man, it was just on some. He was supposed to be doing a record with Rod Wave, so we just locked in, and we was in Dallas at the time, just locked in trying to get this placement, just cooking up, and man, we made some crazy shit. I ain't gonna lie, we made some crazy shit that night, and they just happened to pick this one beat, and it was over with after he did what he do.
For sure. Definitely. So kind of talk about, I want to get into the Intersection project, because like I said, that was when I was first introduced to you, and then like bombarded, you know.
Yeah.
Somebody sent a lot of people to our page, like, where's Fortlit at? Like, this is not.
Yeah,
so,
man.
So talk about that project. Do you feel like that was like one of your bigger projects, or I mean, I know you dropped quite a few, right?
Well, yeah, but that was like my bread and butter. That was like my actual. It was a lot that went into that, and that was around the time where, once again, the death circled back around, and once that circled back around, I kind of just went into a hole and just wasn't really doing nothing but making music at that time. My little cousin had passed. He got shot in Edmond, and it was an ugly time, but the music has always been an outlet for me. But the Intersection, it was a lot of emotion put into that album. So to me, that's one of my favorite projects I've ever worked on.
Mm-hmm. For sure. And then talk about Fortlit, the song, as far as like, you played it at the Big Show a couple weeks ago, and it still does. You know what I mean?
It's still doing what it's supposed to do, man. For sure. To me, that's like, I want that to be my first official RIAA certified record, because it just means like way more than a lot of people probably realize to me, and it's just that whole record revolves around the death of my little cousin. And so that's just how I vent. That's what came of what I was going through at the time.
Definitely. So it's, I feel you. It's deeper than.
Yeah, it's way deeper than, you know what I mean? It's good music, but that's my emotions in the music is what made it what it is. I don't just make music just to, you know what I mean? I've never been big on just trying to make music that sounds cool, or just, I don't know. To me, music has to have a feeling to it.
Definitely.
To me, I want you to get chills when you listen to my music. I want your hairs on the skin and the back, you know what I mean? I want your hairs to raise up when you listen to my music. And so that's how I go about my music when I make it. It's not really a thought process. I cut the mic on and I go.
For sure. So, as far as like, you know, I feel like it's two different like thoughts on people staying in their hometown versus leaving. So obviously you went to Dallas from OKC. So Do you feel any type of way when you're in Oklahoma City? Like you said, it's people around you have had tragedies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So you feel like when you come back to OKC, is it like stressful almost, or you?
It's bittersweet.
As opposed to Dallas?
It's bittersweet. It's got its good days and it's got its bad days. So, I mean, it's home. Like I said, I grew up here. This is all I know. But I also knew that if I wanted to make something happen, that I had to move around. There's never anything wrong with moving around. Like, a lot of people would say, and I'm glad you brought that up, because a lot of people make it like I don't know. I feel like people make it a bad thing to leave. Like, some people feel like you leave and they're like, oh yeah, you changed up and you this and you that. But it's 50 states out here. Oklahoma just one of them. And if you want to make something shake, you're going to have to move around and get to doing something somewhere else. It's like Oklahoma is one of 50. So you just got to look at it that way. I'm trying to go country to country, not just state to state. This is just one country that we live in. We got a whole world to explore.
Definitely, and I feel like a lot of people in Oklahoma especially get like their ceiling for what they see isn't that high. Like, they just want to be the hottest in Oklahoma City or the hottest in Tulsa, even not even the whole state, but like, you know what I mean?
They'll box you in if you let them. And that's just how I looked at it. Like, it ain't no ceiling. I have no ceiling. I have no limit. So it's like, why not go see what's out there? Like, I've always been back and forth to Texas as a kid. My uncle stayed in Houston. So we would go down to Galveston for summers and go to the beach and all of that. So it's like, I've always seen more than just Oklahoma, but that's where a lot of people mess up. They haven't seen anything but Oklahoma. So you can't really blame them for not knowing that it's more out there to go see. There's more out there you can do. And they gonna show you more genuine love just off of not knowing you than it is from the people who are around you that know you, that feel like, oh yeah, well, you was in school with me in the same class, so you not talking about shit. But I met a lot of real good people in Dallas. It's a lot of good people that come through there. It's a hub for any and everything: music, art, clothes, whatever it is that you got. Dallas is a hub. So I just felt like it was just time to get up out of here.
For sure. Yeah, that was gonna be my next question, as far as like the support here between, I think being the dude from Oklahoma City and Dallas is a lot more like, people pay more attention to that than somebody from Oklahoma City and Oklahoma City. You know what I mean? Or like
facts.
somebody.
Nah, for real.
Definitely. So, I want to ask you about the Top Shotta song, because that was actually, you released that song first on your own, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And then, so how did that come about where Number 7 like took the hook and kind of flipped? Like, how did, explain that whole process to me.
Man, well, the way that whole song, and I dropped it first on The Intersection, and that just revolves back to my cousin, my baby cousin. That's what I'm talking about in the song. But the way that record even got to where it was is my partner from Dallas is a DJ, and he heard the record and he like, man, this is who is this? Blase, blase. And so he sent the record to Rain, which is Mo3's manager. Rain called him like, hey, I need that song, blase, blase. I'm trying to put it on. He was trying to put it on Mo3 album at first. And so I'm like, shit, all right, it's already out, but I'm with it. It's a move, you know what I mean? Let's make it happen. So he called me like, yeah, I'm trying to get the record, blase, blase. So I sent him the record with an open verse. Time blows by. Me and Rob shoot out to San Francisco, and at that point they just trying to figure out what they was finna do with the record. And Seven and Don, we all in the studio together, and Seven just ended up getting on the record and throwing it on his album, and the rest was history from there.
For sure.
They fuck with the record. It's the feeling, man. They fuck with them records, man.
Definitely, it's something to be said, as far like you said, putting real life stuff into music as opposed to just
as opposed to just making music is just about nothing.
Definitely, for sure. So let's get into, you know, why we're here specifically today.
Yeah.
You got a new project coming out, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about that.
Man, Rated Z, man. It's my album. It's on the way, man. It's been 2 years. The Intersection was the last project I dropped. So I've been working on this for like 3 years plus, like in the working. Like, I ain't gonna lie, it's been a journey with this whole project. But the last R&B album I dropped was maybe 5-6 years ago, before I moved to Texas, or like right when I first moved to Texas. And like I said, at that point I was just going through the whole feeling, like, you know what I mean, the pain, the all of that. So at that, I wasn't really just making or caring about making no R&B music. But that's where, you know what I mean, I sing. I'm a singer. I'm not. A lot of people would consider me a rapper, but I do not rap. You'll never hear me on a rap record. I'm a singing ass nigga, so I don't. That's where it all started for me. So it's like, this is me. It's me, like, all the way. So it's like, bringing that back. I finally got back to where I was in a good space and could make the music that I wanted to make, and not just in a dark place and still just making all this pain street gospel music.
Yeah.
You feel me? So I just finally I'm back to this to a good place to where I can get the people what they want. They've been wanting it for 2 years and counting.
For sure. So it's more R&B centered, you would say?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So what do you? I almost feel like even your street stuff is kind of R&B music.
It
too.
is.
So what do you feel like the difference is between what you would call your R&B music and what you wouldn't? You know what I mean?
The R&B music is more directed towards the women. So that's the only difference that I could put it is the women gonna love it. It's strictly for women, you know what I mean? It's strictly for when you on a date night, you feel me? You want to go out and cut something on and make something happen. Cut this on.
For sure.
Let me lead the way. Let me lead the way.
For sure. So that's dropping, September 2nd, right?
The release party September 2nd. The album drops Sunday, September 4th.
Okay. So it'll be out by the time this drops. So definitely go get that on.
Definitely on everything. iTunes, Spotify, preferably the iTunes store. It's $10.99, man. Show me some love and go. You know what I mean? Go send me the pre-order, man. I'll give you money back. Send me the pre-order. I'll send you your $11 back in it. You know what I mean? I just want to support. You ain't gonna be mad.
Definitely. So I mean, it's already, like I said, it's gonna be out by the time they see this. So
Yeah.
Is there anything specific, you know, you don't need to really keep anything secret? Like, if there is anything, is there anything you want to let me know or talk about?
I don't need to keep nothing secret, man. It's out there, man. I got my boy Super J on it.
Okay.
For sure, man. He's an Oklahoma icon. You feel
Definitely.
me? It's only right. He an R&B Oklahoma icon at that. I got my boy Super J on it. I got my boy J.R. Patton on it. A lot of people know him as Heavyweight. He got the Girlfriend song, but his name J.R. Patton. I got him on there, and we going crazy, man, for the ladies.
For sure.
It's 13 songs on it, 2 features, the rest is me. They the 2 features, and man, it's something to look forward to.
Definitely, for sure. I'm excited to hear it. I might you play me a little bit before we leave.
For sure.
Is it anything else, you know, videos, shows, anything else we need to be on the lookout for?
Yeah, man, videos coming soon, man. That's really where I'm at after all of this. I'm going in the straight visual mode because a lot of people don't really see me visually like that. I'm just always tucked away and out the way and working. Really, I'm a full-fledged college student. I'm in barber college.
Okay.
But after this weekend, I got visuals on the way.
You gonna laugh? I didn't know what you looked like at first when everybody was blowing the comments up, because everything on your page and Rob's page was just the album cover.
Yeah.
I didn't know what you looked like for a long time.
Nah, for real. And it's crazy, bro, that you even say that, because before the pandemic, I was gonna come out as a masked artist.
Really? Why do you feel like that was gonna be like?
Just because I feel like everybody relies on a visual for music, like, and to me, it don't matter what I look like. You mean none of that matters, like, and so I felt like, fuck it, I'm gonna just put a mask on, and I'm gonna drop this fire ass R&B music, and that's where this R&B album originated. Is I was finna come out as a whole new artist, a masked artist, but then we get hit with COVID, and I'm like, man, I'm not finna do this, because now everybody is walking around here with a mask on, and I was literally about to drop as a masked artist. So I went back to the drawing board and started over. For
sure. So it's definitely, you feel like you got this project where you want it for sure, right? You've been working on it for a long time? For
sure. 3 years in the working, it's definitely where I want it.
Definitely, man. I'm excited to hear it, bro. Appreciate you sitting down with us. Definitely.
Nah, for sure. I appreciate y'all, man, for showing love.
No doubt, absolutely. I want to apologize to all your fans for that one time we didn't have you on that. Like I said, bro, that shit really, that shit was.
Hey, man, they don't play about me, man. They not supposed to, though, man. They just try to let it be known that I'm here. You feel me? Because I don't really just be in the mix like that. You feel me? And I don't. They gotta let Oklahoma know that I'm still in the mix, even though I'm out the way. That's just how I look at it. I be out the way, man. I got kids.
Definitely, for sure. Let them know where they can find you at, anything like that.
Man, my Instagram, Triplemzay official. Really everything else is Triplemzay. You just type in Triplemzay, you gonna find me.
For sure. Like I said, bro, appreciate you sitting down with us. Excited
for sure.
To hear the album. It's out by the time they see this, but definitely go tap in with that, and we'll have to do it again soon.
Nah, for real.